What if it's not about a building? What if it's not about stained glass or steeples? What if it's about just Jesus?
I worked with a guy one time that anytime you saw him, he was always carrying a piece of paper when he walked around. I don't think he was ever doing anything. The paper never meant a thing, but he had kind of the mentality, as long as I look busy, as if I carry a piece of paper, someone's going to think I'm doing something. And I think that kind of goes along with where we're going today.
Yeah, that's good. That's smart.
That's super smart. Yeah, especially if you don't want to be bothered with other stuff. Oh.
Yeah, I asked him about it one day, and I was like, dude, why do you always carry the paper? He said, well, you just got to look busy. If you carry it and you walk fast and you look down, no one questions you.
Wow.
You just keep going.
Now, have you taken that over?
No, it's just not my style. I just try to look not busy. No one questions that either. It's like, he must be onto something.
So you look not busy.
That's my goal all the time. Always available if you need something.
Oh, that's good.
That's so true, though. That's Steven.
Yeah. All right, well, let's dive right into it. We're looking at Luke 10. Is it 40, 41? Let's see here.
I think so.
Okay, let's back up. Let's go all the way to Luke 10:38. This is where Jesus visits Martha and Mary. And this is in Luke. Luke was a disciple of Jesus, but he didn't actually walk with him. Is that right?
Right. Yes, he was actually a physician, and he wrote Acts and the book of Luke, but he walked with Paul more and kind of was under his wing.
Is Martha and Mary Lazarus's sisters?
Absolutely.
Nailed it.
Wow, look at you.
I had to come up with something to come back from,
And
Wow.
and actually some of his closest friends really probably like us,
Mhm.
like, they probably felt like family. I'm anytime Jesus was around, I believe that Martha, always was trying to prepare something and get something ready for them, and they were together as much as they could be. With him traveling, obviously they couldn't always be together.
Well, let's dive into it. Luke 10:38. As Jesus and the disciples continued on their way to Jerusalem, they came to a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. Her sister Mary sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he taught. But Martha was distracted by the big dinner she was preparing. She came to Jesus and said, Lord, doesn't it seem unfair to you that my sister just sits here while I do all the work? Tell her to come help me.
And how many times in life are there those people that are not only worried about what they're doing and feeling like they've got the weight of the world on them and probably doing more than anybody else, but they're also policing everybody else too.
Yeah. I think that's in every house too. Like me and my wife, we do things at different times. I'd rather rest than do the work later. She wants to do the work and then rest.
Oh, that sounds...
So while she's doing the work, I'm resting, and she's just, I'm doing everything. And, and I'm just like, well, yeah, but it's now, but I'm going to do mine here in a bit.
You're going to table it.
I think as women, we're all guilty of that. To a point, my husband's out washing his truck. I'm like, he should be in here doing this stuff. This is more important.
Yeah.
But we all want to make sure, especially if we have guests, that everything is how it should be. We're putting on the presentation. We're making sure you're
we don't
comfortable.
have guests.
I know, we're family. That's what my kid said one time to
Yeah.
Steven.
I wasn't even saying that. I was thinking one of our past conversations,
Oh.
we don't have people over.
Yeah. But that is a great story. My girls were at Steven's house one night, and they said, he told his kids, he's like, guys, quit, we've got guests. And mine are like, who are the guests? Who's coming? It's like, you guys are the guests. We're not guests. We're family.
That was great. That was Ella. I remember that. She was awesome.
But it is true, and we should maybe treat those people like family and not guests, and maybe we won't stress as much about it. I worry about all the stuff. Gosh, is this picked up? Is it dusty? Do I got to do this, that?
I think it's pretty awesome that you come to that because with 3 kids, I feel like you could clean something just in depth, deep clean. And in like 5 minutes, it's like messed up again.
I know. That's why we give the stink eye to our kids. Like, people are coming over, and mine still, they're like, "Oh, are people coming over?" Because,
And
they
even
won't
if
touch it.
even if somebody's not coming over, really, in the days of Jesus like that, man, I mean, you didn't know who was going to come over. You didn't know that somebody might pop in anytime, or at least come to the door and say, "Hey, what's going on?" And, my dad, the way he grew up, any given time of the day, he was ready with his shirt tucked in and sitting on the couch. It's like, what's going on? Where are you going? I don't know, but I'm ready.
That's great. But now I think there's a difference between like dirt, nastiness, and then just kid clutter.
We dirty.
You know what I mean?
Mess
Yeah.
and filth are different.
Yeah. Do I have toys out everywhere? Do I have a shirt laying here, shoes out, or is there like mud all over the floor? There's a difference there.
All of the above, though.
I mean, if there's mud and dirt, I'm cleaning that. But a mess, that's life. Just
Really?
get used to that. Yeah,
Really? That's cool.
yeah. I don't worry about
I
those.
mean, that's
things.
good. That makes me feel better.
Yeah,
You should come to the house more.
the mud and dirt, I can't handle that. But I think there's just that constant fear of judgment. Are they seeing that my baseboards aren't dusted?
Yeah.
I
That-
worry about that.
That's pretty. We're talking about toys all over the place, or stuff, mess everywhere. You're talking about dusty baseboards.
Yeah. Terry worries about dust. Dust is not in my. That's just life. I don't worry about dust.
I'm like,
That's not nastiness to me. All right, let's move on. Savannah's judging me. Luke 10:41.
you let her come to my house.
You're going to be looking at my baseboards now when you go around my house.
Terry cleans. She does a great job. I'm an outdoor guy. I keep the garage. I do the indoors. I do a lot of things. I take the trash out. But cleaning, matter of fact, the last time I loaded the dishwasher, she told me you're not to load the dishwasher anymore.
Really?
Yeah, and I tried. I tried really hard.
I figured you'd be having a plan and a way that you do that precisely.
I
And
thought I did.
Oh.
It was not her way though.
But I love that you guys have shared duties. You know your zones, and she has her zones. And I think that that's a really good partnership because that works well.
Yeah, well,
do
we found
you
this
have
out.
shared duties, or did you just end up one day, hey, I think I'll clean this out and
You know,
put
the goal
dishes
is for
in?
everyone to stay somewhat equally busy.
Mhm.
Like for me, I mow the grass. She doesn't mow.
Yeah.
I don't do the dishes. And then what was that? Yesterday, she tried to build this thing we bought at Walmart that had to be assembled.
Yeah.
We found out that she's not the assembler. I am the assembler. It was the leaning tower of Terry there.
Hey, propped up.
It was. It needed to be.
You need a book.
We have to attach that one to the wall. It was bad. But let's move into it. Luke 10:41. All right. But the Lord said to her, let me back up. She said to Jesus, but Martha was distracted by the big dinner she was preparing. She came to Jesus and said, Lord, doesn't it seem unfair to you that my sister just sits here while I'll do all the work? Tell her to come help me. But the Lord said to her, my dear Martha, you are worried and upset over all these details. There is only one thing worth being concerned about. Mary has discovered it, and it will not be taken away from her.
Yeah.
So she's got it. It doesn't matter about the details, right?
And and when you continue to read it out, it doesn't really say again what Mary was doing that it said she was doing when you first started. And what she is actually doing is huge. It's so important. And this story, although Martha is talking about, I'm trying to prepare food, and I need help. This thing is so paralleled to ministry, to us in ministry, many times in church, many times in serving. A lot of times people get burnt out because, and we will know this more and more, I feel like, because we're actually launching and growing and trying to build a church right now from scratch. And many times you might feel like, hey, we're the only ones doing something. A lot of times, maybe you don't feel that way now. I know, like, you don't feel that way. And I don't feel that way, but I've seen people that do feel that. And it's because they get in a bitter place to where I'm doing all of this and you forget that you're a servant. You forget that the most important thing that you could be doing is sitting at the foot of the cross, sitting at the feet of Jesus, hearing him teach his word.
But these things have to be done. Is he saying here that they're not important, don't do them? Or is it just also this is important?
He's saying a lot, both. In a lot of ways, he's saying way more than that. He's saying you can get that done. This can be done. This can get done anytime. I mean, it's kind of like when the lady, and I also believe that was Mary, that came in and anointed him. And Judas was like, hey, what are you doing? We could have, this spikenard, this perfume, she just broke the box. It's so expensive. We could have took that and we could have gave so much to the poor and done so much for the ministry. And he said, dude, you're missing the point. You got the poor with you all the time, but I'm here now. And she's anointing me. She literally was anointing him, his whole body, for his death. And he's like, you're talking about something that don't even matter right now. And that's the same thing. Martha was caught up in doing this and that and getting this prepared, and it's got to be done. But what Mary was doing was way more important than anything else that we could ever be doing. And the point is if we don't sit down sometimes and get filled up and hear the word and get preached to and hear the message of God, we are going to get into a bitter place to where someday that working and that serving and that over every day in and out of doing this could get to the place to where, hey man, why is nobody coming in here and helping us? We're doing this. Lord, don't you think you should tell her to help me? You know, she's not doing anything. That's bitter. That's like you're messed up. You're burnt out in ministry. You're thinking more about ministry and serving than you are the one you're serving. And if you do that, you get it all mixed up. You get it all twisted and you get it all turned around. Like, we're made to serve. We're made to do these things for people and for lost souls and to prepare these things and to pull them in and to feed them when they're hungry and when they don't have clothes and to clothe them. But if we don't get filled up ourselves, if we forget the one we're doing it all for, then we miss the whole point and it's all in vain. If we get to a place to where it's like, am I all alone? Am I just doing this by myself? You know, these people come in here and they're just worshiping and they're throwing their hands up and praising, and I'm over here slaving.
We've been so lucky so far. I mean, you talk about a church needs so many different types of people.
Yeah.
And we have so many people who are willing to be helps, which is incredible. And I hope that continues because
absolutely,
it's been such a blessing for me.
But we're in such a beautiful place, like the three of us, doing how God has set this up so supernaturally, even when we didn't even know what we were doing. God pulled this together, And I've never been a pastor before, but it's not like a hardship. It's like we love it.
Mm-hmm.
We love what we're doing for the Lord. We know that it's not about us, and we know that it's about the broken soul out there that needs this, and the people that are coming in that need it and need what we're doing and need a place to serve and need a place to worship and need a place to sit at the feet of Jesus. Like, this is a place to do all of that. The Marys and the Marthas, things of what they are doing and portraying and displaying in this story. Yeah, you need to prepare the meals and you need to get everything together, but you also need to sit down and hear the message, the word of God. And I think that is just, I can't say it enough to where you can get so caught up in the work that you forget who you're doing it for.
That's good. And speaking of, Savannah, you mentioned Lazarus earlier. There's a place in John 11 where they're talking about Lazarus whenever Jesus came and brought him back.
Mm-hmm.
It actually says in John 11:20, when Martha got word that Jesus was coming, she went to meet him, but Mary stayed in the house. Now, I'm not sure if that's before or after. Speculation is that it was after.
Right.
But if that's the case, then she really learned from what Jesus told her.
Who did?
Martha.
Oh,
But Mary's the one that stayed in the house.
Right. Well, hold on. We're getting backwards here.
No, Mary was at the feet at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right,
But
but
now Martha
she's-
stayed at the house, or Mary stayed at the house, and Martha went to meet Jesus to tell him about Lazarus.
But if you keep going in that story, you understand and you see real quick that that Martha is the worrier. Martha is always the one that's on top of everything, that's doing everything, she's the one that met Jesus when he was already, Lazarus, her brother, was already dead. And Jesus said, this is a story we've talked about before where they told Jesus, they got word to Jesus that Lazarus was dying because he was sick with a disease. He was going to die. And when they told Jesus, Jesus didn't go right then. Like, this is one of his best friends, and he's Jesus. And the Bible said he stayed away for 2 more days.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also the story where he told his disciples, hey, let's go now. We're going to go wake up Lazarus. And the disciples said, well, wait a minute. If he's sleeping, he's good, right? He needs rest. And they said, no. Jesus said, he's dead.
The long sleep.
Yeah. The perpetual rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then when they go, Jesus finally goes there. Lazarus is dead. And he's been dead for 4 days. And as soon as he comes to Martha, Martha runs out not to say, hey, Jesus, I love you so much, and now you're going to make a way and it's going to be awesome. She actually kind of reproves him. And she says, if you had been here, my brother wouldn't be dead.
Oh, see, I read that differently. I read it as though she said, if you'd have been here, he wouldn't have been dead. Tone and inflection. That's why we don't send text messages.
That's right. That is
Oh,
but
my
it is
God.
so true. It's open to interpretation. It's how do you read it? How are you hearing that?
Does it really matter? Like, she's still saying, she's ran out to tell him. That's the first thing she says to the Lord, to the miracle worker, the man who raised the dead, walked on water, opened blinded eyes, unstopped the deaf ears. She says, you say it like you said.
Well,
it.
even Mary, when she saw Jesus, she fell at his feet and said, Lord, if you'd only been here, my brother would not have died.
But that's the difference. What's the first thing you just said she did?
She fell at his feet.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference.
So when she fell at his feet, her tone was different. It was Lord, not Lord. If you'd have been here, all right.
I mean, she fell at his feet.
Yeah, I got you, man.
But you can just, you can feel the irony. You can feel the friction. I feel like that's the way I interpret it, because it's her that he was saying back there when she was preparing the food. He said, he's basically saying, you're always worried. You're always cumbered is the KJV word, but you're always burdened about all of these different things, and you're worried about all of these things. But Mary, she's chosen to sit at my feet once again. Humility. And she's just here to absorb whatever I'm doing.
She's just carrying the paper as Martha.
Yeah.
Not actually working.
Martha's carrying the paper, right?
Yeah. Mary's over here actually doing the work.
That is awesome.
I'm
going to walk around my house this week with a paper.
I've never seen this going this way.
I love it. It's so understandable, though.
Oh, jeez.
But like, if we say all that, can you see it from that, or does it not look like that? Am I way off? Like,
I wouldn't have thought it was so dramatic. I would have imagined it's just two different personalities and two different people, but they both still love and respect the Lord. It's just from different perspectives.
One is a major worrier, and one's not. One is like,
that's how God partners them up, ain't it?
Absolutely. Those what's it say? Opposites attract.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. That's why in a marriage there's usually one that's like, hey, I'm here. You know, you need me to do something? I'm here. And there's another one that's doing everything. That's like, do you need to do something? Oh, okay. What do you need me to do? You know,
if I got to tell you, never mind.
You already messed up. Go get at the feet of Jesus. But yeah, she runs to him and she says, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. And of course, then you said, and I believe he's the one that says, where is Mary? Am I right? And she goes and gets Mary. I'm pretty sure that she goes and gets Mary, which is another whole personality thing. Hey, I'm here. You need to be here too. I'm going to get her. So Mary finally gets there and she falls at his feet. And she says the same thing because she's hurt. They're both hurt. They just lost their brother and they know he could have changed it. But what they didn't realize and what they didn't have faith for, and when everything falls apart and there's no more hope in sight, you don't lose faith at that point. You don't crumble under that pressure and under that brokenness and say, okay, it's done. I'm mad now. I'm upset. If you'd have been here, it would have. You have to have faith when there's no faith to be had, when there's no hope to be had. Jesus said to Martha, when she said, if you'd have been here, he didn't even act like she really said anything. He said, take me to him. Take me to where they've laid him. Because I don't know about you and whoever's out there listening, but I want God to take me where they're laying, where all hope is gone and there's no more hope in sight. Because the God that I serve, that ain't where he stops. You may stop there. You may be at the end of your rope. But when you're at the end, that's right there. Where there's nothing else left, where there's not a way you can see, where there's no hope in sight. That's where God is just getting started. And she even says when Jesus gets to the place where he is laying dead, He says, roll the stone away. He's in a cave. It's a cave. It's not like a grave we know. It's literally in the side of a cave with a stone on it. And he says, roll the stone away. And Martha speaks up again and says, oh, Lord, no. You can't do that now. It's been 4 days and by now he stinks. And maybe your situation stinks, and maybe it's been 4 days, and maybe it's been 4 months, maybe it's been 4 years, maybe it's been 40 years, but God is always on time. He's an on-time God. And when you think it's done, when you think it's over, He's about to do something mighty. And let me tell you something else. You may be at the end of your rope, you may be done, but God ain't done with you. And maybe it stinks for you, but God ain't done with you. And roll the stone away. Get it out of the way. Stop saying, no, it stinks now. It's over. It's done. Because God is about to turn it around in your life. He's about to turn it around. He's about to raise up your dead situation. Be blessed.